Be done by now.
Okay, I'm in double, so I gotta get off here.
All right, yeah, I hear you talking double. All right, there we go. You are live on YouTube. So I'm going to turn the mic over to you.
Double, so I gotta.
All right.
Maybe there'll be people. Marcy might come in too.
Yeah, so all right, well, the mic is all yours. And I will be right back with
Oh,
my
Dove's here.
coffee.
Good.
Dove's
Okay,
here.
maybe.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, he's here too.
Yeah.
All right. So, hey, Dove, can you share just for a couple minutes so I can? I just want to get a glass of water.
Sure, sure.
Okay.
Okay, I'll just mention I invited Bikini for this evening, but she said maybe in a month or so she can make it. She has a very heavy schedule, but that's okay. Uh, she would be a great guest on a Tuesday night. I just wanted to mention that. I'm doing another cafe with her tonight. Apparently, David. I can't think of, David, I can't think of his last name. David from Course. Hello?
Hofmeister?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. So Hofmeister. So he's talking to her about how AI could be a thing that counsels people in their problems. So I happened to mention to her, yeah, but the psychotherapy pamphlet says healing happens the instant the therapist stops judging. How does that work with AI trying to find somebody's problem? Of course, they'll find the problem, and I'm sure they're going to find the answer. But that's all concept. So we're doing a thing tonight, another cafe where I'm going to speak about this because I was just listening to Ken Wapnick today as it happened, and he said real joining is seen because I always think of joining in the physical sense, like the mind becomes one, like your mind, my mind becomes one. He says, no, real joining is seeing that you share the same interest. Uh, can AI actually say it shares the same interest? I don't know, but hi, love. Hi, Marcy. So that's what I'm doing tonight, from 5:30 to 7, doing another cafe talking about AI and the Course of Miracles.
Well, AI is a database. It's all it is. It's a relational database. And it's like anything else. You ask a question, it's going to go out to all the other databases, all the other places where it's gotten information, including from A Course in Miracles, A Course of Love, anything else you want to look at. It will go out and actually look at those things because they're all in the database. AI does not have a person. There's not a person or a personality that's there. It is just like every other thing in this illusion. We have given it a personality. We have given it a name. Some people call their AI Sophia. Some people call their AI Jim. It doesn't matter. It is it's a projection of my own thinking. So how could it possibly be informing me of anything other than what I am looking for already? So, if I went to AI and said, tell me how to, burn down a whole city, it would come up with all the different solutions where that has ever occurred or could ever occur and give me all the solutions for how to do it. That doesn't mean that AI is into burning down cities. It just means that it's answering my question. And so the whole thing comes from the questioner. It all comes from the dreamer. And AI is a dream, just like everything else. So, how people could say, oh, well, it's giving me answers. It is giving you jack shit. It's giving you what you put into it. It's called GIGO, garbage in, garbage out.
Like that.
You put in a lot of spiritual testimony, and you ask for spiritual testimony, it's going to give it back to you because it's giving you what you put in. That's all it's doing. It's not a being. It's not a person. Doesn't have a personality. Was not created as a son of God. It is a machine. It is a machine, and it's only giving us back what we put in. So yeah, if you want to say this is my oracle, this is telling me, some secret thing that, nobody else knows or something special, it's not. It's telling you exactly what you put into it. People are idiots if they think that it's anything else. It's just dumb. Dumb. I write a book and then I read the book and I go, "Oh my God, look what's in this book. I wrote the book. Oh my God." No, I'm looking at it going, wow, who wrote this book? It's amazing. It's AI. I did it. All
I
I.
missed this. What were you guys talking about? Because I missed the whole, I was,
AI. We're talking about AI
oh,
and how
okay.
people are using AI as like an oracle or as a spiritual uh, uh, confidant or something like that. It's only telling you what you told it to tell you. And it's only giving you what you ask it for. And you were the one who put the stuff in there in the first place. So what makes you think it's going to give you anything special or different? Because it's all part of the dream anyway. Anyway, that's what I have to say about AI. And I'll
Well,
turn the mic
AI
back
might
over to you.
become the big thing now. I mean, in the next decade, they said.
I like what you said, Lynn. It's all part of the dream. And by the way, when you were talking, it reminded me of one of the 3 times I heard the Holy Spirit speak to me. And I'm sure that you remember. After doing the course for 27 years, I hear this voice says to me, "Dove, close the book already. You can't find yourself in a book. A book is concepts, words, symbols. That's not who you are." And AI could not do that. AI cannot say close AI.
Yeah, exactly. When AI says to you, "Hey, you're listening to your own thoughts. Shut me down."
Very
Then
good.
I would say, okay, maybe AI has got something going. But all it's doing is just taking what I fed it and feeding it back to me. Why? Oh,
I
I
It's
also,
mean,
helping people
it's
with
just ridiculous.
I mean, with learning disabilities, it's helping people. I don't know how to do it. I'm trying to learn that, but it'll take, like, if you like tell them a story, it'll correct your punctuation and all of that. But it's still dream stuff. It's all just artificial.
just to give you some context, Sharon, we started by saying that David Hoffmeister has this spiritual AI membership thing called Spiri AI, like Lynn said. People call their AI, Susie AI. He calls it Spiri, like spirit. And what it's supposed to do, or what it supposedly can do, is if you have a problem like I don't get along with my kids, or my kid doesn't talk to me, something like that, it can talk to you in Course in Miracles language, and come up with the problem, which is really what I do when I say be grateful for your triggers, because they reveal your mistaken beliefs. And then I said, but in psychotherapy, the pamphlet, it clearly says on page 20 of the pamphlet, it says, healing starts the instant the therapist stops judging the patient. Now, obviously, AI can't stop judging the patient because it's given a question and it has to answer it. So there's no real joining. And I just mentioned this morning because I saw you in the room too. I heard Ken Wapnick actually say joining in course terms means to see that you share the same interests.
Right. I heard him today too. Yeah. He's so good. He's wonderful.
Share the same interests. How does AI tell me that I'm sharing the same interests? It can't. It's a machine.
Yeah. No, she's right. I mean, Lynn's right. I see it that way too, because it's,
Yeah.
when
Okay.
you go from guidance, that's coming from, well, the real, but even that's illusory because because we'll still be in a body. So it's still illusory.
Right. after I said that, I realized I'm a machine too.
Yes, I always think of us as AI because I feel like, a while ago I heard Regina say to people, all that's here are voices. There's nothing else here. So it could be that we're animated. We're like I'm talking now, but who's the one that's channeling it? Well, right now I'm in the right mind, but I know when I'm not in the right mind too. But again, it's all still illusory. There's nothing real here, even when you become the Holy Spirit, because it's a remembrance of God. But it's a beautiful way to. This book has helped. It took years for me, and the last couple since January, the unfolding's gotten a lot. It got a lot of stuff coming up, and what I realized is that I didn't know my retreats from my advances. You see, and that is, sometimes when you see someone crying hysterical, that breaks up all the garbage that's in the system,
Very good.
right?
Very good.
And the laughter does too. So it's kind of like, I mean, it's what Rafi always says, we are being perfectly guided all the time. We can't do this wrong.
Yeah. Speaking about crying, when I had my spiritual awakening, I was 32. Before that, I was crying for 2 hours straight. I call it orgasmic crying. I couldn't stop crying.
My, yeah.
Finally, when I would stop crying, I saw a picture of myself standing in the garden, and I had a shirt and it said, "Love the truth." But it came out of crying. I had to get rid of the lies before the truth came to me. And my life changed completely in that. For the next 2 months, I was like, everything I did was perfect.
That's so awesome. Yeah. I mean, because let's face it, what's really here can tell us where to go, what to do, because it knows the whole story. Spirit knows everything.
Yeah.
It knows our story. Hi, Morris. You want to share one from this book? Did you get it out? Because Morris is
Oh, I
saying,
don't even know what you're reading. Healing what?
oh, the healing, the unhealed mind. I just take
Oh.
parts of it. The bottom line is that what's that? Oh, that's Marcy's thing. That this stuff, it work. When we start to get these deep shifts in our consciousness, it's sometimes hard to even know that it's done that. Like it's. I kind of like love to listen to. I have Adi Deshante's books, and Lori had brought that up last week, The End of Your World. And he has some really goodies, a lot of goodies in there. He just talks a lot about what happens. It's not for everybody, it's different. And for everybody, but I don't think anyone can really teach this either. It's like we're teaching ourselves. But again, I get a lot out of everybody teaching in our group because I feel like it's feeding me. It's feeding me the only food that I want at this point. Okay, now I'm going to go to, this is his stuff on the manual. All right, so he's saying forgiveness, a decision of the mind. So really, what it is forgiveness. Jesus is trying to describe it, but because we have an idea of what forgiveness is, but forgiveness is the holy instant. That's all it is, and the holy instant is when we know that we have the reflection of heaven, right? So he's saying here, forgiveness is the essence of the Course's message, and we cannot forgive unless we know we are in a mind. We know we are mind, and that is the truth. It's funny. I had gotten away from the Course for a while, and I was not remembering mind. So there was still and that's all because it was the teachings from the great masters. In fact, I even got the book I Am That. And it's okay, but I want to say this, they're all good. They're all saying the same thing, but wherever you're getting fed is wherever you should be. But here he's saying, we cannot forgive unless we know we are a mind. In the Song of Prayer at the end of the chapter on forgiveness, Jesus tells us not to set forgiveness in an earthly frame. It's not about like the earthly type stuff. Like, forgiveness means that nothing happened, right? So, in other words, we are asked not to see forgiveness as something that occurs between bodies or persons. It is a decision made in the mind by the mind. For the mind's healing, it has nothing to do with bodies. In the two pictures, and that's really like the teaching today was, Jesus was the part in the course from this day today is all about that love and fear. So the two pictures, Jesus says the same thing in different words. We have put the right picture in the wrong frame. The right picture is forgiveness. The wrong frame is the body, or in context of this section, the special relationships between bodies. A Course in Miracles is all about returning to the mind so we may choose again. And if I forget that I am this body, if I forget that I'm this body, I'm in total like ecstasy because, we all want out of the body. The body has tensions. The body gets sick. You have to go to the bathroom all the time. So it's like, and, it's just a lot, but at the same time, we still, at least for me, I still have stuff that I want to stay here. I just want to keep growing because that's what we're all doing. We are all growing. That's really what this process is. It's a growth process. And then the ego makes up stories about it. So it says at the beginning of the text, there's some material that was originally a message for Helen as she was taking down the course. But obviously, it is for everyone. Helen was complaining to Jesus about being afraid and wanting his help. And he said to her, the correction of fear is your responsibility. When you ask for release from fear, you are implying that it is not. Jesus is saying to his scribe and to all of us, when you ask me to take your fear away, something outside that is making you phobic, anxious, or fearful, you are saying it is not your responsibility. You did not choose it. And, the mind is choosing everything. So, it's just important for this mind to realize that no one has ever done anything to me. Mind wandering is projection, or wandering from the mind into the world. This is why Jesus is saying, do not ask me to help you in the world. How can I help you in a world I know does not exist? Now, that's funny because, Ken basically, and I love that he teaches this because you can get so stuck on guidance. Am I hearing the Holy Spirit or am I listening to the ego? That's constant, what at least this mind was doing. And so Ken would just say, forget all that. Just keep realizing that you're in the cinema with Jesus. You are, not the body mind. The character is absolutely no thing. It's nothing. So he's saying, you should ask instead for help in conditions that have brought the fear about. These conditions always entail willingness to be separate. At that level, you can help it. You are much too tolerant of mind wandering and are passively condoning your mind's miscreations. Okay, mind wandering is projection, or wandering from the mind into the world. Just like look at this. Like this is just all a massive. We're hallucinating. There's nothing here but the real world. The objects are just things that are showing up in our mind. And to pull your attention back is what I'm saying to myself. Pull your attention back to right here, right now. Because that's all that's mine. I don't need to go on any kind of trip here. Mars, do you see where I am? Okay. Do you want to read a little bit too? And then I want to, I like when everybody joins.
Yeah, I can. So it starts at mind wandering is a projection,
Yeah.
or yeah, mind wandering is a projection of our Sorry, maybe I can't read. We'll see. Mind wandering is a projection, our wandering from the mind into the world. This is why Jesus is saying, do not ask me to help you in the world. How can I help you in a world I know does not exist? I am not insane. You are. Ask me instead to help you undo the conditions that brought the fear about. These conditions are the willingness which refers to our mind's decision to be separate, meaning to be separate from me. Our elder brother and teacher is telling us that the reason we are afraid is always because we are separated from him and his love. He pleads with us to let him help us undo the cause of fear. Since the point was obviously lost, Jesus repeated the lesson shortly afterward. You may still complain about fear. The original words to Helen were, you are still complaining about fear, but you nevertheless persist in making yourself fearful. The you that is making yourself fearful is the mind. Once again, we are told not to keep asking Jesus for help in a world he knows is not there and therefore not the problem. I have already indicated that you cannot ask me to release you from fear. I know it does not exist, but you do not. If I intervene between your thoughts and their results, I would be tampering with the basic law of cause and effect, the most fundamental law there is. I would hardly help you if I depreciated the power of your own thinking. This would be in direct opposition to the purpose of this course. Do you want me to keep going, Sharon, or do you have any comments? Or
I mean, this is always good. You know, these are reminders.
yeah,
Because we get lost. No, I can only speak for me. I get lost during the day. I do. I get lost in what's going on, you know, especially when I go to teach. I try to stay in the present. Now, the presence is what we are. So if we keep our attention on the presence, then it it feels really good. So I feel like, you know, as far as the best reminder to me is that we are mind, right? Because I don't know about you, Mark, but I think I'm a body a lot of the times, right?
right, right.
You know, so you
Yeah.
want to go on?
Yeah, I can read a little more. I just wanted to say, I'll be here briefly because I have a relative who's still staying over. And so I have been in ego for like a massive ego trip for three weeks or so. And we have to do some work in the house, not my house, the other house, to make it better to go back to. But it's been quite a ride. Okay, so, and I haven't picked up the course since last Tuesday. So sorry I haven't been here.
No, that's okay. Because the thing is, you were called away, but that's still like you're helping a loved one. I think that's beautiful.
Right. But the amount of energy that has gone into that is, it can't be coming from love because I've been exhausted. This is the first day I woke up and I was like, oh my God, I feel like I can drive, as opposed to, oh my God, I gotta drive. You know what I mean? You know, and I really want to declutter so badly. Like all these things around are nothing. You know, you just keep giving a meaning and specialness. So anyways, I'm just gonna go back to the book. I can go on for hours about that. Anyways, clearly what Jesus was telling Helen, and again, all of us, is that the mind is the cause and the experience of fear is the effect. If we ask him to do something with the effect, with the world of puppet, he would be tampering with the law of cause, mind, and effect, world or body, and therefore would not be helping us. The only way his love can heal is by teaching us to appreciate the power of our thinking, respecting the power of the mind to choose thoughts of love or fear. Very succinctly, that is the purpose of this course. This writing occurred in the very early weeks of the scribing, which took a total of 7 years. Jesus was making the central message of his course clear to Helen and Bill and to all of us right at the outset. If I did what you asked me to do in the world, get you parking spaces, win the lottery for you, heal you of your cancer, bring peace to the Middle East, I would be depreciating the power of your mind and serving your ego. This would go against the purpose of this course, which is to return to the awareness of your mind's power to choose. And I must say, I am starting to get the point of all this discussion about why everything is for me, why everything is a lesson for me,
For
even though
just
there
me,
is no
yeah,
me.
yeah, I get that. I mean, Yeah.
Yeah, here's your lesson for today. Oh, it's the same lesson I've always had, but it's a different form, but it's the same thing. And having gratitude for some of this stuff has been kind of ridiculous in my mind until now, where it's a gift. You
Oh,
know,
I
that
know. It
it's
took
like,
a
oh,
while.
it's time to look at this now. You can keep running, but you might as well
Right.
just look at it. The unhealed mind thinks that it can do something in the world. Yet, how could we be doing something in an illusory world with a body that does not exist? We can be true healers only when we recognize the problem is our mistaken decision, thinking there is a person out there who needs help. Yes, I have. We think there is a world that needs peace brought to it, a planet that is endangered, a species threatened by extinction. What is extinct? Everyone here is extinct. Why do we focus on certain species when we are not even here? This may sound funny, but that is what A Course in Miracles is truly about. It is so easily misunderstood because people think it is about bodies, about a world, about us as persons asking another person named Jesus or the Holy Spirit for help. That makes no sense. This course is only about returning to the mind, appreciating the power of the mind to choose and to choose differently. This is what heals our minds and makes us healed healers. The process involves using the forms of the world as a way of gaining access to the content of the mind's mistaken decision so we may choose again. Finally, remember that the course is aimed at the mind's decision maker, that we may remember that it is our identity within the dream.
I just love him. I think he just is, his books, because he implements every part of the course in all his teachings, and that's so helpful. You know, does Lyndon Dove want to share? Okay, they might have walked away.
Oh, okay. Do you want me to read a little more? Or?
No, I'll read and then you'll read. I mean, we could
Okay.
talk about it, but here's the thing. It is like that for me now. Like, it's important to always come back and realize I and my Father are one. And when you say that, you realize that you can't be in a world. The voice that's talking is spirit. That's what we all are. We are all God, period. Now try telling people that. They'll tell us we have a
Well, when you, oh, go ahead, finish your sentence.
Yeah, I don't say anything because I think it's inappropriate for me to talk about it, but go ahead.
No, did you want to finish?
No, you go.
Oh, I was just thinking, like when you're in the hospital, and I've done this a million times, it feels like, because my parents were tag teaming in and out of the hospital. And once they actually went to the hospital very close together on different floors, I don't know why they couldn't be on the same floor or the same room. I don't understand. But anyways, so when you're sitting in the hospital with a loved one and there's a condition that is very concerning, it's so hard to remember this stuff. It's just, my mind is blank, but at that point it's full of all this fear.
Now, here's the thing that I've been trying to do. I'm not consistent, but stopping and asking. Mm-hmm. Because that is like the rules for decision. Why I think that I know what I should do is ridiculous, right?
Right.
But then again, spirit doesn't really tell you how to. Well, it did for Regina. She ended up getting guidance on what to eat and stuff like that. But that's really it seems obvious. If it's your intuition, it'll be the higher mind that's telling you. It's only the mind that wants to pig out like I do every so often. And just watch a good movie and forget, that I'm even there. But, what Ken brings home for me is always that there's no world.
Yeah.
That we can really get that there is. I mean, if I wanted to believe that this world was real, there's a part of me that still believes it's real. But there's the higher self that I feel in me that knows that it's not real. So it's a habit. And, I saw Kate Greaves, her work. Yeah, she wrote that it takes a while to do this habit. You have to do it over and over and over again. And the whole point is that you don't want to do the same habits that you did as a person. Is that your brother? Oh.
That was my husband. I just turned the sound down because he's talking to the dog.
Oh, okay. He's your husband. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And they're both marks, but
They're both marks. Oh, okay. Yeah. It's funny because we have these like little units, I think. That's what they are. They're units like, there's like an apartment. Here I am in my apartment, and what is that? My world. Because the mind is what I'm saying. This is really my mind that I'm looking and saying, oh, I like that and I don't like that. And it's just this remembering that all is well. We are perfectly safe in God, and we're not even these bodies. And when Keith teaches that, I mean, I've been listening to him off and on for a while now. And when I tell you, he does such an eloquent way of just saying, in all he must know the course inside out, right? I mean, you know him better than I do. So he must know it inside out, because he can take you to a place like Dove does, take you to a place, what it said. And it's like, and then the ego mind will say to me, well, now you got it all. You don't have to do anything, because the ego is looking always to distract our mind. But we are that. And the book I told you I just got, the I Am That book, I was just very curious about it. And it's good, but it's the same as the course. They're all saying the same thing, that really this is just a dream, totally meaningless. And the only thing that was keeping me really planted in the world was the fact that I wanted something different in this world to happen. I wanted a president that I wanted. I wanted, you know what I mean? I wanted my kids to do well. All this stuff it's irrelevant, because this is nothing. So teaching the mind that is the most important thing. Where's your brother? Is he in his bed?
he's in the living room.
Okay.
He moved into the living room.
He moved into the living room.
Temporarily, but not
Yeah.
temporarily enough for him.
Well, everybody always wants to go home, but
Yeah.
we really.
Well, we all want to go home with
Right.
capital H.
Isn't that the truth?
We're already
Yeah,
there.
everybody wants to go home. Home is here right now. So perfect, isn't it?
Mhm.
I like when he says the unhealed mind thinks that it can do something in the world. The point is, it kind of does do things because it gives us all our material. The unhealed mind is the material of what we're believing. So in a way, if you come from the higher self and look at what the ego is telling you, you pretty much can see that the ego's whole point here is to keep you in a straitjacket where you don't know what's going to happen next. And at this point, we can all relax. We can just go, oh, this is over now, right?
Yeah. It doesn't feel like that for me.
Whatever's happening in that outer picture is happening inside, and it's crazy right now.
Right.
So
That's real crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like I just love this book. This book, like I think it was Myra that told me to get it, or she had said it in one of her groups, that she's on Facebook too. She's like with Kate Greaves, but she basically was saying that she read this book inside out 4 times because it has everything in it. He's talking about the one part of us. It's like, Ramana Maharshi would say, a thorn replaces a thorn. So you use the ego to get rid of the ego. That's basically what we're doing.
I have to share this. I don't know if you can see how tattered that is. My dog tried to devour this. I thought that was so funny because I try to devour it, and sometimes I don't feel like I get so far as he did. He got it, yeah.
Dove, are you there? Come on camera, Lynn and Dove. Are you eating breakfast? Anyway.
Do you want me to read that paragraph?
Keep going. Yeah.
Okay, until I wind down. Before proceeding with questions, I would like to read a passage from the teacher's manual. It is a lovely expression of what it means to be a healed mind. It is in the section called How is Healing Accomplished? The third part of the answer to that question is discussed under the heading of the function of the teacher of God. Its specific focus is on what we do when we are in the presence of those who believe they are sick. We begin with the second paragraph.
Are you turning to the next page?
I am.
Okay.
It's from the manual. To them, God's teachers come to represent another choice which they had forgotten. We all find ourselves in a situation of pain, distress, or discomfort and have forgotten there is another choice we can make. The ego, as we have seen, has very effectively removed that choice from our awareness by making us mindless. And then this is also from the manual, it's continuing. The simple presence of a teacher of God is a reminder. Let's say that you are sick and I come to you in my right mind. The sickness is your proof that you are separate from God and that your sin and guilt deserve punishment. Sickness being part of the punishment. On another level, the sickness is something you have chosen as a payment back to God for what you took from him. When I am with you and in my right mind, feeling Jesus' love with me, I know the separation is illusory. That certainty is with me all the while I am with you in your pain. We are not speaking of what I do or say on the bodily level, but only the thoughts in my mind. Peace, love, and my not making your error real by letting your pain and sickness disrupt my peace. In other words, deep within, I am not guilty about your sickness, nor am I worried about it. The love and the peace of God is with me, despite what seems to be happening to you. What I am then saying to you, because minds are joined, is that you do not have to be upset. God is not angry. The source of your pain is the belief that God does not love you, because you do not love him. The peace and love I am demonstrating, regardless of their form, is saying to you that just as I am not separate from you, God is not separate from you. This means that my peaceful and defenseless presence is healing because it reminds you that your decision-making mind can choose again. And this is just right on for where I've been, where it says, I am not guilty about your sickness, nor am I worried about it. It's like, really? That's where I've been the last 3 weeks, and I obviously haven't been on the group for a while too.
Wait, hold on a minute. Somebody's writing me now, so just keep going.
Oh, okay. Let's see, where did I end up? And then there's another section from the manual. His thoughts ask for the right to question what the patient has accepted as true. If you are sick, it means that you have accepted as true that the error of separation is real and beyond question. You made the choice to identify with the ego that tells you that you are sinful, guilty, fearful, and that your suffering and pain is what you deserve because of what you have done. The error your sin against God is real and cannot be questioned because you do not even know there is a question. Your sickness is a fact. Once we accept something as true, we never again question it. My being with you as a healed mind is asking you to question what you never believed you could question. I am telling you that there is another way of being in this world, a way that is peaceful and does not make the error real. Because I have accepted the love of God in my mind, you must have too, since minds are joined, even if you are not aware of having done so. If I am identified with that love and demonstrate it to you, I cannot be separate from it. And since you and I are not separate, if I am not separate from God's love, then you are not. My very presence is saying to you, question the validity of the judgment you have made that you are separated. Sin is not real. The error is not real. And these thoughts are all made up.
These thoughts are all made up by our mind. Our mind's just making this crap up all the time.
Yeah.
Our mind probably picks who we vote for. It would have to, because it's all a program. Our mind has to pick everything. And
As long as we're separated,
as long as we
all is
believe,
well, all is
right.
well in the ego.
Yeah. I mean, it's like the whole point in this whole process is to just not take it seriously. Because it's like we're not even there. So what are we working? It's coming as an organic process. It's just happening through us, just going like, winding down. And, what I used to do was like, kind of look up to people that called themselves enlightened. And now it's like that fell away because this was all ego. The ego itself has an idea of what enlightenment is or what or awakening or whatever that means, because the ego is always competitive. It's always looking for us to be the best, but really we are all awake. And that's why if we wanted to close the book, which we don't, because we're still in this. And why are we still in it? Because we're being moved to do it, because spirit is living through all of us. So God is living through all of us, and the divine presence is always here. So it's like, there was a time, with the ego mind that I would say, well, wait a minute, if I'm here like 60 years, like, what do you mean I'm not here 60 years? Well, we don't know what a virtual reality is. I mean, can you explain it? Because I don't really know how to explain it.
No, because we're in it.
Or we are it, right?
We are it. We are.
But
we chose it. We chose
yeah,
something that's not real.
Right. We chose it. But, it was only in a tiny, like, nanosecond. And this world keeps going on. And that's what's so hilarious. Because, and then there's this, like, idea that I don't want Sharon to die. Well, she doesn't die because she's never even been here. So,
right.
Now, if you talk about the fact that we reincarnate, that's a tough one. I think what Lynn was explaining last night, I think it was her, but reincarnation is basically happening, like, because it's all happening right now. There's no past and there's no future. It's just all nowness. So, how do you feel about death?
Oh, in my speech therapy session, my speech therapist asked me what I thought happens when you die.
Now, did you get to talk to her about, like, is that why she brought it up?
She stopped me. I was working on some kind of puzzle game, and she stopped me at some point and said, I have a question about metaphysics. And I just cheered up. I was like, what?
Right. Now I know something. Metaphysics.
Yeah, I might have a clue. I might be able to answer that question. I can't answer the normal questions, but
right,
she said,
right,
what happens when you die? And I said, well, if I'm in oneness, there's no change. I'm just in the oneness. And this all was the error. But it was
right, because you didn't even leave. That's over. So
yeah, I didn't even leave, but I think something in form thinks it did leave because it's in form and it's separate. But when there's death, there's love. There's like full compassion and love and no form, no bodies, no nothing, nothing in
nothing.
what we consider.
Right. What you had said is true, though, because if we didn't leave heaven, because we are still in heaven, because the tiny man ideal took what? A couple, a
nanosecond. Right.
and we are still there. This is not who we are. We are this character that we all like, unless I heard it from Keith once, basically saying that people read the course, and so did Ken say that, as people. That's what I did all along. That's why I struggled with it. And now I see that it's just nothing here. It's, I was forgetting that it's over, but really living that. Like, if it's over, then what difference does it make what you do here? But I want to be happy. Right. And that's why I love the Course in Miracles, because it's a happy text. There's a lot of these teachings, it keeps me away from the wrong mind, which is, I've had different things coming up too from the role line, but at this point, I don't know. Desire plays a big part in this process. If we desire like anything from this world, we're going to hurt. That's just the way it is. Hi, Mark.
Sharon says hi. Sharon and everybody else in this watching says
Hi,
hi.
Mark.
To you.
Oh, who knew, how would I know you're talking to me?
Yeah,
wait,
that was
wait,
you.
wait.
Dan down the street.
Wait back. Just wait. There you go.
Dan down the street this time. She said she had a street.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm
So
talking about?
it's like, here he's saying something. It is not their hands that heal. It is not their voice that speaks the word of God. They merely give what has been given them. We already are that. Everything has been given to us. And, I've been listening to Dove for years, and he says the same kinds of things, but what he's saying is basically very helpful, at least for this mind now, because there's no arguer here. I need more time. And at this point, there is no time because we're in timelessness. So where'd you stop? You have your thing on, Mars. Mars, you're on.
Hello. I had to turn that off because my husband, the commentary needed to be a little restricted.
Okay, yeah.
Hey, I just
I-
wanted to say thank you to Mark for giving
Oh,
you to us all these years because
yes.
my God, how many years have we been doing this? Or not this,
And
but
it's something together about the course, whether it's on Gary's group or this or yeah.
Now, how
yeah.
did you meet on the course? You were both on the computer. You didn't talk to each other until a while.
Yeah,
Like,
I don't know
um,
when. Oh, no. Yeah, we were on
the
Gary's
disappearance.
Disappearance of the Universe. And then somehow I got dragged in to be a moderator, which I thought was hysterical.
because you showed up.
It was like I didn't understand the course very well at that point.
Well, I think it was a good pick because we're the only two actually left of all the original moderators of that group, and
Yeah,
that's all we really need. But still, in all, you've been faithful throughout.
yeah,
In fact,
yeah,
you dragged me back when I stopped, when I'm like, I'm tired of this and nobody's answering this stuff. So, and you were
yeah.
the one that said, Lynn, people are looking for
Yeah, I
for
don't
you.
understand. Somebody just joined. Somebody was just joining, I think. I can't keep track of stuff right now, but
Yeah,
and I'm
more
like,
people are joining.
I'm so confused. And my ego has this thing like, I want to start a conversation. I want I want it to be this way. And it might never be that way again, or it might. It might just happen when it happens. I don't know. I know nothing.
Yeah, well, I hate to sidetrack here, but I've thought about putting out invites in the group, but I'm, like there's over 5,000 people in that group, I
Yeah.
believe, or maybe it's down some. It was up there. Maybe it's like 3,000 or something.
Wait, can I ask you what you mean by invites? Invites to talk?
And right here,
Yeah,
is that
yeah,
what
like say, oh, here we're over here on uh Gather on
I
Zoom.
think
What
I
come in?
think that would be great, actually, if we could combine it. But I don't know. I mean, my expectations are the expectations of a body mind informed. That's all I'm saying is I want more bodies here because I want somebody to talk to. But I have you all, so I
Exact.
don't know. I don't know what I think needs to happen, and what I think needs to happen isn't really reality with a capital R.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, and maybe if I feel moved to do it, I'll do it. We did have Connie came in here from the group
Oh,
because she
okay.
looked at my footer on the lesson and said, "Oh, there's something here." So she came on over and she was here for a few meetings, but then she left, and maybe that might be what happens is people might come in and say, "Oh, this is not what I was looking for," and
Yeah, yeah. Well, and I
you could
remember, I
invite them to,
mean,
it would be nice to invite them to gather. I love when
yeah, I'm in agreement. Just an invite. You don't have to show up, but it might be a place where some more people would like to ask questions or chat or look stuff up. I mean, the resources on Disappearance of the Universe are really excellent.
Oh my God,
There's
yes.
so much information there.
Oh, I never
So,
went on there. What is it exactly? Like, it's a website or?
It used to be a Yahoo group, but now it's an IO group. And it's a group on I don't even know how to explain it. You'd
Can you
have to
send me,
actually.
Marcy, the link on my phone? Like, I would love to
and
just,
I can send you a link somehow. Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, I'll send it to you.
Now, here's the thing, like Lynn, I have his books, Gary's books, and I have him even on Audible, but you know, I think it's a great book, but I never went through it like maybe you girls did. Did you read the whole thing?
Oh
Yeah.
gosh, over and
Yeah.
over.
Yeah.
And not only I read we read all those books, but also Bruce Rawls and I read the entire Lifetimes When Jesus and Buddha Knew Each Other.
Mm.
Oh, I didn't
We
know
read that
that.
for
Yeah, I
several
wish I had
years.
heard that. Yeah.
Now, I heard that was a great book.
Yeah, they're all, they're all good books. They're all telling you this is what A Course in Miracles says. Do you know what A Course in Miracles says? Here's what A Course in Miracles says. You think you know what A Course in Miracles means? Here's what A Course in Miracles, and really it clears up a lot of stuff. I think that even people who were long-term, because I know people who were long-term students of A Course in Miracles, who read The Disappearance of the Universe and said, "Oh,
Yeah.
that's what it's about." Yeah, it's
It was a
shifted a
good
lot.
directive. You know, the thing is, like, does he still have these figures coming in his dreams?
Yes. Yeah, they're writing a new book right now.
Right.
They're writing, I'll put my camera on so I'm not just some anonymous.
Some people, oh, who cares? It's like, look at me. I have no makeup on. I just don't care anymore.
Sharon. How could you? Oh, I have no makeup on either.
Me neither.
Oh God.
Yeah, because I mean, you know, the book, I think what the book helps with is it really takes the student and teaches them exactly what the course is saying, that it's always you and that nothing happened. But the one thing that bothered this mind was they talk about lifetimes. And yes, we come back as the I am, but the character never comes back.
Well, you may be interested because, yeah, the lifetimes when Jesus and Buddha knew each other, it does, they're not necessarily coming back and saying, "Oh, remember I was Jesus. Oh, remember I was Buddha." No, no, not like that at all. There's not that, but
Explain it to me.
it's what we are. Just think about it. Um, you have, I don't know how to okay, you have internet and you have television and you have Netflix and you have all the different programs that you could get into and look at and get involved in and become aware of. And maybe you like to watch a show like Survivor, and you get on to watching Survivor, and so you watch Survivor, the whole season of Survivor, and like you get your whole season of Survivor out of it, and then Survivor's over. And then there's a new season of Survivor with all new characters and all new situations. And you go back and you watch, oh, here it is again, Survivor. I'm back in it now. I'm back in it now. Every time in this lifetime, I'm going back into things that I have known or seen or thought about before. It's because there's no individual character that's an I. It's
Yeah,
no
so
individual
that's
character
all
that's
it
not.
is. Like
It's one big thing that's
yeah,
in everything.
right.
So, I'm in all time. I'm in all time and all space. Where I am is all time and all space.
Yeah, but
And
when the
I
body
choose the
drops, what
channel.
happens? Like we're just where we always were. That's basically what you're saying,
Right. We're
right?
just here watching. And I'm just choosing the channel. And
Right.
when one show's over, I'm putting on another one.
But we don't have to live as a character. I wouldn't want to live as a character again, would you?
Well, I am living as a character right now.
Of course you are, but I always say that, but I wouldn't want
Well,
to come. Like, I thought, this is just that. Well, I don't know. There's so many teachings out
well, some I think I was hearing someone this morning. Um, Maybe it was something you were reading, or maybe I was listening to YouTube or something this morning, and they were talking about kind of this very thing that the character itself is a character. And so I can select to be the character. I've selected to be this character. I also selected to be that character. Selected to be a Sharon character, and I selected to be a
Right,
Marcy
because that's
character.
what we are. We're all the I am.
I'm what I am uh, in this realm. This dream is the dreamer, and I'm in everything. So yeah, and when if at the end, if I have found uh, true healing, true peace, true atonement, if I have actually discovered that and have that become what I am, no longer the character, but now this I am that I am, then when the body dies, there's no place to come back. I'm not going to come back. There's no place to come back to because I've already
Right,
dropped
you just stay
everything.
here with us.
Right. In Jesus, look at this. Here's a perfect example, right? He dropped the body. Boom, body gone. All right. Next thing you know, he picks up a body. Same looking body, same moving body. Why? Because he had to communicate to the people that he had been with that this was still him. So he picked up this body that looked the same and came out and walked among them. Uh, he was never in either of those bodies.
None of us are,
We're
right?
not in this body
It's just
in,
so
in the story.
fascinating. It really is. But the thinking mind can't get it, so it just has to be.
No, because to the thinking mind, what it's saying is you don't exist, which exactly the thinking mind will never, ever decide.
It can't possibly, because it's
Because then it would not be here. It would not exist.
right, right.
You know?
But it really doesn't exist. So,
Right. No, but we perceive it as such, and therefore we are. So,
yeah.
but it doesn't really matter. None of it is, all of it is just the story. And, we're here because we're fascinated by the story. We're here because we love the character.
Yes, I'll admit to that. I really
Yeah,
like.
yeah.
I
Why
like
else
to
would
hear
you turn on
people's
Survivor
stories.
every week?
You know, is if the ego just thins out. That's all I really think that needs to happen, because the reaction, how we always, like last night we were talking in our session basically about the reaction thing that we do when we're with people. Instead, what Marshall's trying to do is to bring us back into the present, really, and just ask, because we want very much to connect to people, even on the emotional level. And this is why his teaching's so powerful.
Right. Yeah. And what Marshall's teaching, Marshall Rosenberg, nonviolent communication, what Marshall is teaching is not to hold the past against my brother, not to hold my past against myself, not to look at a brother and say,
That's
this
what
is
you'd
who
be
you
doing,
are.
right? I mean, if I were, yeah, if I
Yeah.
was still angry with my ex-husband, that would be a problem.
Right. Exactly. Exactly.
I was still angry. I stayed in a lot of these subjects probably because the ego was louder, but now they're just not there anymore. It's
Yeah.
almost like, well, nothing happened.
Right.
So,
And you kind of wonder, how did I think that? How did I
well,
think
then you
these
get the
things?
whole course when you realize what it's saying. You're making it up.
Exactly. Exactly. Well, I'm going to go ahead and close this YouTube.